Let us continue with web application penetration testing. In the previous lectures, we saw an introduction to web server attacks and countermeasures, and now from this lecture onwards, we will see web application vulnerabilities. So before we move ahead for the practical applications and using of tools, we should first know the OWASP top 10 attacks. So in this lecture, that is the first part, I will tell you which are the first 5 top vulnerabilities presented by the OWASP. So OWASP stands for Open Web Application Security Project. You can see these are the top 10 attacks according to 2017 OWASP released. Now, why I'm not going to tell you the 2020 or 2019, because there is only a slight change in documentation, but the major attacks remain same. So, in this lecture, we will cover the first 5 attacks, that is A1 to A5. So, which is the first attack? Injection flaws. Injection flaws are web application vulnerabilities that allow untrusted data to be interpreted and executed as a part of a command or query. Now, attackers can exploit injection flaws by constructing malicious commands or queries that result in data loss or corruption, lack of accountability, or denial of access. There are various types of injection flaws like SQL injection, command line injection, LDAP injection, and others. The next A2 is broken authentication. What is broken authentication? An attacker uses vulnerabilities in the authentication or session management functions such as exposed accounts, session IDs, logout, password management, timeouts, remember me things, secret questions, one-time passwords, account updates, and others, just to impersonate other users. Attacker sniffs the network traffic or tricks the user to get session IDs and reuses these session IDs for malicious purposes. Password exploitation is also a part of broken authentication. What is timeout exploitation? Now, if an application's timeouts are not set properly and a user simply closes the browser without logging out from sites accessed through a public computer, the attacker can simply use the same browser later and exploit the user's privileges. The third one is sensitive data exposure. As you can guess on the name, many web applications do not protect their sensitive data properly from unauthorized users. Sensitive data exposure takes place due to flaws like insecure cryptographic storage and information leakage. Now, when an application uses poorly written encryption code to securely encrypt and store sensitive data in the database, the attacker can exploit this flaw and steal or modify weakly protected sensitive data such as credit card numbers, SSNs, and other authenticated credentials. So basically, by exploiting this vulnerability, attackers can steal your sensitive data. The fourth one is XML external entity, that is XXE. XML external entity attack is a server-side request forgery, that is SSRF, where an application is able to parse XML input from an unreliable source because of the misconfigured XML parser. An attacker sends a malicious XML input containing a reference to an external entity to the victim web application. When this malicious input is processed by a weakly configured XML parser of the target web application, it enables attacker to access protected files and services from servers or connected networks. And the fifth one of this lecture is broken access control. Now, BAC refers to how a web application grants access to its contents and functions to some privileged users and then restrict others. Broken access control is a method in which an attacker identifies a flaw related to access control and then bypasses the authentication and then compromises the network. It allows an attacker to act as a user or an administrator with privileged functions and to create, access, update, or delete every record. So for this lecture, we have seen the first 5 attacks of the OWASP top 10. And in the next lecture, we will explore all of these, that is the remaining 5 attacks.